Welcome to the Sales Dojo podcast. The podcasts are here to help you address the real issues salespeople face every single day.
Welcome to Twiz. Chris, Susie, three of us in a room, well, a metaphorical room together. When is the last time we had this?
Oh, no, you weren't here last week, were you, Leon?
No. It must be a month.
It's so long ago, none of us can remember.
Well, we probably should talk about some posts and not how infrequently we meet as a group of people recording podcasts, shouldn't we?
Making good radio, yeah.
It is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts, and the first one is one that you shared, Susie, from Daniel Burke. Oh, he's got a bumblebee on his profile name. I love him now.
Yeah, definitely. He's the chief evangelist at Beehive, host of MoneyWise. So, hey, Daniel, thanks for your post. He writes, someone just called me. Sorry, someone just cold called me. That's probably the most important word in that sentence. Someone just cold called me. I answered it. We talked for 27 minutes. I liked their pitch and their product. I asked if she could demo it for me and some of my colleagues. I'm excited to see if it solves a problem I've had for years. I didn't realise it at the time, but she tried to call me 11 days ago and last month too. I didn't answer either time. Some good lessons in there. Mainly, timing is important, and for people being cold called, sometimes the solution actually does make your life better. It's okay to answer a cold call every now and then. So, of course, as we know, we love a cold call post, and this one just gave me lots of joy, and as it did 1,123 others, because it's got a lot of likes. And I really love this for two reasons. One is you never know, the person might be selling you something or might have something that's actually interesting to you. So it's always worth giving them the benefit of the doubt and listening to their opener at the very least. And the other one is don't give up, because timing is so important. I can speak for myself. I know that certain numbers have been trying to reach me for a long time now, and they just ring when I'm in the middle of a training or I'm in the middle of a podcast recording or whatever, and I can't answer at that time. And so do keep trying, because it's probably a timing thing rather than a being ignored thing as to why somebody is not picking up. So yeah, I just wanted to start this podcast with some positivity about cold calling. Chris, you celebrated. So tell me why you celebrated, although I could probably guess, but you can tell us.
Oh, what would you guess, Susie?
I think you'd just be very happy, and you'd be like, yes, absolutely yes to this.
Yeah, I'd quite like to give Daniel a hug, if that's all right with you, Daniel. And I don't usually do a man hug. I'm not into that. There's so much that I like about this. So here we go. I'm going to actually, well, maybe I won't name people, but we've discussed this today on the podcast and other episodes, haven't we, Leon? Is about 12 months ago now, I put my mobile number on my LinkedIn profile. So if you want to talk to me, if you want to sell me something, as Daniel says, they're really excited to see this because it might solve a problem that they've had for ages. I've got problems. Some of them are to do with my business. But maybe I want solutions to them. I'm getting so many DMs that they then DM me again when I ignore them because it's a crap DM and it has no interest to me. And then they all end with the same way. I just want to say all the best. If you ever feel like a chat, many thanks for. It's on my DM. Right next to it is my mobile number. Phone me up. Because if you solve a problem that I've got and you've called me at the right time, I'll probably have a chat with you. Because as a business owner, my number one priority every day is solving problems and making my business better. If you can help me with that, I'm all ears. Timing is the key here. So, you know, when they say, oh, no, I don't take phone calls, I'm too busy, and they slam the phone down on you, it doesn't mean I hate you. It means you've just caught me at a bad time. If my phone rang right now, I wouldn't be rude enough to answer it while we're recording this. Doesn't mean I don't need what you're selling. You just tried me at a bad time. Yeah, DM me as well and send me an email and a pigeon and everything else you can think of. And equally, hey, I know the advice is it's okay to answer a cold call now and then, like, go on, everyone answer cold calls. That's entirely your personal preference. Some people just hate it, don't they? Some people just hate talking on the phone, so they're never going to answer a call, even if it's from their own mother. But yeah, I really like the point of this is she already tried calling twice. How many salespeople, hand on heart, if you're listening to this, would have called twice and then put it at the bottom of the pile and not called it again. Oh yeah, no, they never answer. We're not calling them again. Just keep calling them. Yeah. Love this. Great little post, great message. Not usually our style, Susie. I thought we were going to maybe be a bit ruder about this. I love it. Well done, Daniel.
I thought of a few things when this was put in the group. And the first one was hallelujah that someone isn't putting an arsey post on about cold calling, like, because they just fucking do my head in. And they're usually by someone who runs a team of cold callers, to be honest with you. They're the ones that you usually see. The second thing that I thought of when I seen it was the picture showed different times, and I was like, there's a learning for you. Like, you phoned at different times, and, you know, if you've got a pipeline and you're phoning numbers and stuff like that, maybe you need to swap the times up, because, you know, we Chris and I will always talk about doing 10 before 10, which is a great habit to get into to be able to do some stuff. But if you only ever do 10 before 10, there's another 7 hours of the day in which you're never going to be able to speak to people who may or may not be busy at them times. And then the other thing that I was thinking of when I seen the post was, it is really interesting that people's perception of what happened on a call can be greatly affected by whether or not someone answered, and whether or not someone bothers phoning that one back, or whether or not someone treats that one slightly differently or not. And what I mean by that is, I always talk about stuff from the olden days, and I feel like me our fella, but here we are. I'm 47-year-old man and I'm basically old. But we used to, before CRMs were a really cool thing, and before everyone was using Excel spreadsheets, we used to give a lead printed on one A4 page. And on the front, it had the details. It had 3 or 4 questions that you needed to ask to qualify that lead to see if it was worth getting a meeting with them. And on the back, it just had basically a line bit so you could write notes. And I would always say, when people said about notes or the trainer we were doing, they're like, you know, should I make some notes? Will I make some notes? Whatever. And I said, only make a note if it's going to help you next time you ring. Like, they would say, what do you mean? I was like, well, if it says no answer and you get the list and it's got 10 things which says no answer, how are you going to feel when you make that call? And they would always say, oh, well, I feel like they won't fucking answer. And I'm like, yeah. So then you'll go into that completely different mindset as you would if it was a fresh lead. If someone said he was dead nice, he was lovely, he wants to buy a product, you'd phone it differently, wouldn't you? And they'd be like, well, yeah, of course I would. It's like, well, yeah, but you should never treat 2 cold calls as the same. They're always going to be different. They should always be individual happenings regardless of any information. And then the final thing about Daniel's post was, he's clearly a fucking psychopath, because he's got 10% on his battery. And who the fuck does that? Like, seriously, that is psychopathic tendencies. He's got to get in the bin.
I did notice that too, and it did give me a little bit of angst, right? Like, ooh, just 10% left on the phone there. I don't think I can ever let myself do that.
So down with the kids. Am I just the one that's like, you've got hours left at 10%, you're all right, chill out? Or am I the psychopath as well?
Makes me feel really uneasy. It's like, whenever someone shows you the phone and they've got a red number and it's like got 99 plus on it, I'm like, what are you doing? How can you just at least delete them? Don't have them just sitting there like nothing's happened. Psychopathic behavior.
Phone chargers are like snails and rats, though, aren't they? We're never more than 2 meters away from a phone charger.
Exactly. So you've got no excuse. Get it plugged in. Get the fucking thing plugged in.
Just relax about it. It's all right. It'd be fine. Honestly, Leo.
Can I just say, unless you have teenage boys in the house and then you have no phone chargers ever anywhere, they disappear. So we've now color-coded our phone chargers, and so that we know whose is whose. And funnily enough, they don't disappear anymore.
Our teenage boy is back from uni, and I now have no crisps, no pop, no nice food. Everything that's good to eat is gone. It's just gone through it like a plague of locusts has destroyed our kitchen.
Whilst we're doing a little bit of therapy, if you don't mind, fucking pisses me off when the cleaner moves my charger from where I left it, because I want to put my phone on charge in the same place in the house. And I do before I go to bed, and it's in the same position. Frankie's sister used to do this when we stayed in the mum's as well. She'd always steal my phone chargers, and it really pisses me off. Thank you for listening.
Welcome to therapy hour with the Sales Dojo.
Should we talk about sales again?
Yeah, we probably should. And we should also probably talk about Dylan Rich's post. What a cool name for someone who's in sales, Rich. He's a founder and author, and if he's not golfing, he's helping online businesses 3x. Oh, I feel sick now. Anyway, he starts his post by saying a prospect picks up and says, "I'm kind of busy right now." 99% of reps say, "No problem, I'll let you go, have a great day." And that's the most expensive sentence in cold calling. Nobody answers the phone if they're actually busy. They let it ring. The person who picked up and said, "I'm busy," has 10 seconds for you. They're telling you got to be quick and not to disappear. But the average reps, he is busy and has a polite no and folds on the spot. They were hunting for a reason to hang up, and the prospect handed them one. This might be the last time you ever speak to this person, because they might not have charged the phone and the battery might die forever. And you're going to give that away because they sounded mildly inconvenienced. When someone says they're busy, the move is simple. Totally fair. This will take 30 seconds. If it's not relevant, hang up on me. Now you've acknowledged them, shrunk the ask, handed them control. Most people will give you 30 seconds. And if you were really bothering them in a meaningful way, they can just hang up. Reps lose deals because they're looking for permission to quit a call. And then he's got a picture of Charlie Brown saying, "Me walking away from a closable deal because the prospect sounded a little bit busy." And I love that. And it reminded me so many times of conversations that I've had myself with people when I phone them and they've gone, "Who is it? I'm busy." And I'm like, well, if it was Pamela Anderson, I'm guessing you're all right to speak for a couple of minutes, but because it's not and it's a sales call, then all of a sudden you're busy. And it's so true that, like, no one answers the phone if they're busy. I mean, maybe some weirdos do, I guess, but they don't genuinely answer the phone if they are genuinely busy. And I meant to mention this before in the previous post that we talked about, but I was a bit worried because I had a podcast recording with Chris only a few hours ago, and I blew a lot of smoke up his arse then. But Chris does a really good thing on one of his trainings, which was cold call like a boss, which I'm hoping at some point in the future is going to get reignited because I've done it 3 or 4 times and I'd like to do it again. But on cold call like a boss, he has this exercise where he gets someone to get a load of ducks, which have got numbers on underneath, and they've got to put them in order, and you've got to try and throw the ball and get them to catch them. And it's such a really good, is it a metaphor if it's visual? What is it, Chris? What's that called?
Visual metaphor.
Visual metaphor. It's such a visual metaphor for that time that you don't have on a phone call when you ring someone, and the fact that they are getting their ducks in a row. And I really love this. And I'll be honest, I've not used totally fair. This will take 30 seconds. If it's not relevant, hang up on me. But I am going to use that every time I phone someone now from henceforth who says they're busy. What do you think about it, Chris?
Yeah, nice post, Dylan. And I'd forgotten about the duck game. It's like they got quite violent at one point. I had to change the ball to like a really soft, spongy ball because tennis balls starting to give like black eyes and nosebleeds and stuff to people. It's realizing what that objection actually means. Sometimes it just means I'm busy. Like people do answer the phone when they're busy. Oh, I'm in the middle of something. Yes, what is it? We do. It's more than likely, though, it means I'm too busy for what I think you're about to do. They're preempting what's about to happen, which is a pushy sales call or an irrelevant sales call or something that isn't a valuable use of the next 5 minutes of their time. We're always too busy for that. So what we've done here is probably triggered some kind of stereotype to get that out of the way. So what do we have to do, which Dylan does here as well, is immediately break that stereotype by moving somewhere they're not expecting you to move. So they're either expecting you to go, "Okay, sorry, bye," like the flight, or say something like, "Well, you won't be too busy to listen to our great offer." Then you turn into an absolute melt on the phone for somebody. And he's just following a formula here, isn't he? The first bit I might do even stronger. It's you just got to start with the empathy. So here he's gone, "Yeah, that's fair." Or you can say, "Hey, yeah, sounds like I've caught you at a bad time." Just go with them. Don't fight against it. Don't create friction. Go with that objection. Because what you're basically saying is, you know what? There's no argument here. I'm not fighting you here. That's cool. Because that lowers all that friction within there. and you are only after 30 seconds, there's loads of different examples of how to do this one. But if you are doing that, okay, bye, then yeah, what are you doing? Come on. If you want to triumph, you've got to try a little umph. So we've got this. This is a great soundbite. Hey, yeah, sounds like I've caught you at a bad time. Listen, give me 30 seconds to ask you 2 questions. If at that point it doesn't seem relevant, we can take you out the CRM so I don't call you again. Like, give them a little prize at the end if they give you 30 seconds. There's loads of different ways around this one. Some of them might just hang up on you. Well, that's all right. You know, you've got to throw a lot of balls to hit a coconut, haven't you? Doesn't matter. Yeah, Dylan, like it. I wish my name was Rich. That's a great name, isn't it? Surname, Rich. Chris Rich. No, I don't really like the sound of that. No. Right, I'm talking bobbins now. Susie, you're dead good at these things. What's your take on this?
Dead good at what?
Objection handling. We've worked.
Oh yeah, I love
an
an objection handle. Yeah. Yeah, I do. So yeah, totally agree with everything that you've said around if somebody answers the call, they are not busy. I think the only exception is that should a loved one be in hospital, somebody may have their phone on loud during a meeting in case the hospital calls or something, and then they are genuinely busy, but it's worth them answering the call for it. That's not what typically happens when somebody is answering a call, right? Yeah. Anyways, I don't think we need to go into that. We've talked about it a lot. So I think this is a really good shout that Dylan's talks about. It is possible that it's a brush off, right? So it is possible that they just don't want to talk to you, and you can objection handle it, right? So I love Rich Dylan's suggestion here, which is, yeah, sorry, that's not sorry. That's fair. I'll take 30 seconds if it's not relevant. Hang up on me. I think that's brilliant. I think it's very bold. You could also objection handle it by saying, totally get it. I've called out of the blue. You weren't expecting this call. Listen, when would be a good time for me to call you back? Right? It's a different way of handling it. Yeah, you're doing what Dylan said you shouldn't do, but you can also gauge how the person reacts to that question. Right. And if that person goes, oh, yeah, I don't know, just try me again sometime, that's not okay. But if they say, do you know what, Tuesday at 4 p.m., that would be a brilliant time for you to reach me, then take it and try again at Tuesday at 4 p.m. Like, I think it's difficult to just give one answer to one situation because there's so many different variants. I love what you've put forward, Dylan. I would put forward mine as an objection handle as well. Yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to add.
Susie, I love that you always come in with like the sensible mum answer.
The sensible mum answer.
Yeah, do you know, like it's like, yeah, I get it, and it's a bit, but don't forget, someone might be in the hospital. It's such a lovely thing to say. What a beautiful mind you've got, Susie. Let's go on to Luke Edgerton's post. I think there's another one that I shared as well, and it's all again about cold calling. Susie, I think we might have a theme here, love.
I was just thinking the same.
So Luke is excellent. He says, I help companies speak to prospects earlier before decisions are made. I like that. His post says, cold calling is a stimulus that encourages conversations to take place and ultimately grow pipeline over 12 to 18 to 14 months. I'm guessing he's done a typo there, unless he's got a DeLorean in the background. Without it, you can still build pipeline, but it's considerably harder. You can send more emails, you can capture more eyes with ads, you can shake more hands at events. But each of these channels has a limiting factor that cold calling addresses, and that's pipeline longevity. In other words, the conversations you have today shape the next 1, 3, 6, 9, and 12 months. Some prospects will look now, others will look soon, even more will look later, and of course, some will show no interest. You can get this information and act upon it. That is the power of cold calling. And obviously, when there's any post about cold calling, to be honest with you, no, actually, I think from going on LinkedIn about 14, 15 years ago, any cold calling post, I actually still intrinsically inside me go on it so I can call someone fit to burn if they've said cold calling doesn't work. I think that might be the reason why cold calling posts are like flames to a moth with me. But actually, most of them are pretty good these days, aren't they? They've turned around. It's not all that cold call instead. You need to do social selling bollocks. But I like Luke's one. And the reason why I was thinking about Luke's one was the whole point of, I think I heard Marcus Cauchy say it once when I was on one of his things. And he said simple line, which was something like, you're cold calling for customers you might get in 3 to 5 years. And I remember when he said that and I thought, wow, that's proper profound, isn't it? Because you are cold calling for prospects that you might get into in 3 to 5 years, and some of them might come soon and some of them might go a little bit further. But it is about that pipeline stuff. And I thought, well, Chris is going to be on the podcast, and I would like to get his take on Luke's post.
I don't want to go over old ground, but yeah, Luke, totally get this. And I wish I had that time machine that you've got as well with your 12, 18, 14 months. That would help my world. Yeah, this is, I think we've got to be careful here. We say that, you know, we're going to cold call to build pipelines. Some businesses don't. Some businesses cold call to get a sale. You know, and we have a really wide spectrum of listeners now. And we want to appeal to as many people as possible here. So, yeah, what you've got to look at, your cold call is the stimulus that encourages conversations. Love that line. That's great, Luke. And yeah, let's look at, this is right for a certain type of sales process, 100%. I'm going to call you today where he says some prospects will look now, others will look soon, even more will look later, and of course, some will show no interest. This is basically the check buyers pyramid that he's talking. If you've never had a look at this, go on Google, go on AI, just look for check buyer pyramid. And it shows that ultimately 3% of your marketplace is in a position to do business with you right now. So ultimately, if you make 100 calls, 97% of them are not going to be able to do business with you right now in a B2B environment, which is a huge generalization, but it always seems to work out. You're just starting the conversation off. And I think what I dig into Luke's post here and I see so often is this is where so much cold outreach, phone, email, DM, video, anything falls down, is it's trying to rush the process. It's trying to go from first date to wedding in as fast a time as humanly possible. Why? Because we're all told that speed kills deals. You've got to get momentum, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you've got to follow the process. And if you've just interrupted somebody's world unannounced, you can't rush that process. So yes, this is the beginning bit. You might come across people that will look now, some are going to look later. Just get that momentum going. Start that conversation. Don't be so hell-bent. This call must get to this point. It's going to go where it's going to go. You've got to have that structure around it. So yeah, like this, Luke, anything about pipeline building as well. You know, an unhealthy pipeline is a terrible thing in a business, or a fake pipeline is even worse. Cold calling's a cure-all. I know I've got skin in the game on this and I might be biased, but if you've got a big, fat top of funnel with qualified people in it, you're going to sleep well at night, whether you're a salesperson, a business owner, a sales leader. If you've got lots of stuff in the pipeline that we got on really well, but there's not a lot of qualified stuff going in the top, then yeah, you're going to have some sleepless nights. So yeah, I don't feel I've really commented on his post directly. I didn't want to go over old ground, but don't disagree with any of this. What do you make of it, Susie? What would you drag out of Luke's post?
Do you know what? I was doing some face-to-face training last week, and after the training, the manager asked if he could have some of my time, and I was available, so I had a little chat with him over a coffee, and he was explaining to me, or he came to me and he's like, how do I get my team to do more cold calling? Like, that was his question. And as I'd like to say, as all good sales trainers do, you need to understand where that question or request is coming from. And so we dug deeper into it as like, why is this not being done in the first place? Or why is it showing up now, et cetera, et cetera? And what's happening in his particular team, and I'm describing this on because I think it might resonate with others, is that they've actually got a heck of a lot of business that comes in as repeat business or existing customers that order something else and stuff. So these team members have this kind of hybrid job of looking after existing customers, getting more money from them, and also finding new logos or finding new customers as well. And what's happening is those existing customers are keeping them, and I'm just going to say in inverted commas, busy enough that in a lot of months of the year, they hit their target entirely through existing customers. And so they're actually, in those moments, account managers, if you wanted to be a bit ruder, order takers, right? So, you know, they're profiting from, they're doing okay from the existing business that's coming in based on the relationships that they're building with those customers, which is a great thing, right? And so what's happening is then they'll suddenly get this dip in sales from their existing customers. And they're like, oh, What do I do? Oh no, I'm not going to hit my target. And they haven't done the pre-work of cold calling in those busy times. And so what they end up having to do is then this mass cold calling initiative when they've missed out on the business. And their customers have a sales cycle of, I don't know, 2 weeks to 2 years. I was talking to the same company this morning from a different region. And so they can't save or salvage that month. It's too late. And so what he's really trying to get them to do is put cold calling into their diaries as a habit. Once a week, every couple of days, whatever, but is a regular thing, even when they've got these peaks of their existing customers placing orders, so that they're doing exactly what Luke's talking about, right? Which is making sure that they're looking after their pipeline or their sales for 3, 6, 9 months time. And so this is really what I wanted to say is I've seen this living in the last couple of weeks when I've been out and about with customers and doing training. And it's such a problem because you can't do anything to fix it if you miss your number that month. It's gone, it's done. But you can do something ahead of time to stop that happening as often as it does. So that's my little plea to people who have got that hybrid role of existing customers and getting in new logos and new customers. Don't ignore that cold calling, even when things are going well, because they could go even better, worst case, right? So I just wanted to, give that little plea.
It's how many people who are going on holiday in July have started to diet and go to the gym now to get ready for the beach. And you were like, no, you needed to do that in January. Like we've left. Sorry, Leon, you just put your hand up as well. And it's that, but nobody answered today. Doesn't matter. Just consistently do this all the time. Susie, we're really lucky that, we've been quite successful. I know you're super booked up. I'm booked up for months. We're great. I still have to do business generation. I still have to go out there, or it will suddenly be October and I'll go, oh, we see this with startups all the time. It's going really well. And then they run out of business and they've not done anything to keep that topped up all the time. Human nature, I get it. But Luke, love that.
Got 2 posts from you now, Susie.
You've got a post from me?
No, I just thought I'd see what you say when I said, Chris, we've got 2 posts from you now, Chris.
All right, okay. Julia Carter.
I just noticed that Susie had turned away and started reading another email or something like that, so I thought I'd throw it on her toes.
You did that very, very well, Leon. Well done for bringing me back into the room.
That's like a teacher when they shout your name when you're looking out the window, isn't it? Oh, what? Yeah, 72. I don't know. We got a post from Julia Carter, Slay E. If I'm pronouncing all that wrong, Julia, my apologies. We'll have a look at your website in a bit. Post says, sales is so funny because you can do the same thing and have it received so differently. I'm not quite sure why you abbreviated the word because out of the whole post, but there we go.
Cool.
Oh, well, it is cool. We'll give you that, Julia. So there's a list here. It says, me multi-threading an account, company A. This is a masterclass. I'm making a sales workshop based just on you. Company B, you're a fraud. Such a good point, isn't it? Me sending them a good lead. Company C, this is delivering so much value. It's so hard to stand out these days. Company D, nothing's free. What do you want? So I'm kind of acting the parts here for us. Okay. Thank you. Me sending a churn risk account. Company E, wow, thank you so much. We had no idea. Company F, stop talking to me. Me writing a relevant note based on a post. Company G, good timing. This is a priority for us right now. Company H, I wish somebody would send me a relevant note. Crickets, as in she's been ghosted. TLDR, I've got lost at that. Anybody?
Too long, don't read.
Too long, don't read. Just keep trying. Some people will love it. Some people will hate it. Just do your best. It's a nice message, isn't it? That you could give the same call, same email, same note to 2 different people. You're going to get a different response. Something I've noticed over the years is a salesperson's go-to reaction is it's their fault. I need to change what I'm doing. It's my fault. I need to change my script. I need to change. No, hang on a minute. Sometimes it just doesn't land. It's not always you. It could just be wrong person, wrong time, wrong messaging. Maybe they're just a biff. Don't worry about it. But I think it's just a really interesting discussion point, isn't it? Is you can do something brilliantly and one person it lands really well with, and the other person tells you to put your head in your bin. Leon, just like the rest of us, you do loads of cold outreach, you do loads of networking, you do loads of messaging, really cool messaging. You know, we all learn off you for that. What's your take on this? Have you had this recently, like a real example?
Yeah, look, 100%. It's not just like prospects; it's customers. Like,
yeah,
you get feedback off customers, and you've done the same thing for certain customers, and some of them are like, "Oh, thanks so much for that, really helpful," and the other one's like, "Fuck it, what do you want, man? Like, why are you sending me chocolates?" And you're like, "What's going on?" I wanted to pick on something that you just said, actually, Chris. Sorry, this feels like one of our interview podcasts here in a second, but I wanted to dig into this a little bit if I can. You said something along the lines of salespeople make it their fault when they do some stuff and it goes wrong and stuff like that, and we don't want to do that. And I agree, but I'm also wondering, because sales is like a proper paradox. Everything's a fucking paradox with sales, isn't it? Like, make more calls, make less calls, make better calls, make more calls. Obviously, you don't want salespeople to blame themselves, but then we also have that like thing where we want salespeople to like analyze and stuff. We've talked about it today and said, listen to your calls and listen back and see where you can improve. So, like, in sales, have you actually got to be a sociopath, a psychopath, and also a really nice person all at the same time?
Yeah, pretty much. That's why it's a really stressful game, isn't it? No, it's a really good point. I mean, look for pattern recognition. If you've made 50 calls, every one of them answers, and because of your messaging, none of them give you time of day, maybe review what you're doing.
Yeah.
But wait until there's a pattern, at least, or they were rude. It's how many people say cold calling doesn't work? What they mean was, I tried it once, one day, and it backfired, so it will never work. There was my brother's never going to listen to this, so I can talk about him. I wrote a blog about this years ago. I went to play golf with my brother. He'd never played golf before, and he walked off the course after 9 holes, and he blamed golf. Yeah, golf's rubbish, golf's crap, it's not for me, no, it doesn't work. I mean, golf doesn't work, yeah? What he meant was, he wasn't very good because he'd never played it before, and he only gave it 9 holes, yeah? These are the same people that say cold calling doesn't work. Why? Because you tried it one morning, you felt really uncomfortable. It's not me, it's cold calling. Yeah. So yeah, with this, Julie, it just really landed with me that I find it so funny. AI, tech stacks, all this sort of stuff. We're just still dealing with humans. This is how it's going to work, isn't it? Some days it lands, some days it doesn't. Susie, now you've put your magazine down that you're reading and ignoring me. That's great. What's your take on this?
Cheeky monkey. I'm back in the room. Don't you worry. Not much to add other than that's why sometimes it's good to change up the person on an account or something. I'm talking a bit more long term, right? But it is you're the way you say something, the way it's received can be completely different. And so if you have more long term customers in your customer base, perhaps you're an account manager or something like that, then, and maybe you've got some customers that it's not really working, get one of your other colleagues to contact them, or see how they get on with them, if that's allowed and if that's within the realms of possibility in your company, of course. We used to do it when we were in inside sales. So when I was managing the team, somebody would just go, I can't get through to this guy. He just won't listen to me. And I've tried like 5 times. He'll give that number to somebody else to call, and he or she will get through and get on with them like a house on fire and make the sale for them. Like those were in the days where you could do a 1-call close in the company I was working for. And sometimes it is just us being human beings. So I think it's a good encouraging post to keep going. I'm feeling that there's maybe 2 themes here today. Maybe it's cold calling and encouragement, all in the same.
Well, we've got a post to go yet, so we'll have to wait.
Yeah, so
I hope it does not ruin my theme.
Well, wait till you see this next one about encouraging cold calls. I just worked out that Julia Carter is an AE and a young AE, so Slay is like do really well. So that's why it's Slay.
I'm so not down with the kids.
You now know what B/C means, TLDR, and the Slay is, because you're pretty a teenager again. Congratulations.
Rad.
Yeah, that's not what teenagers do, man. One last post from you, Chris.
Yeah, John Elliott, who is humanizing the world of business. Bold statement, John. John said, LinkedIn friends, I need your help. I immediately felt like his friend and I wanted to help. He says, where do social norms currently stand on coffee shop Zoom meetings? I was recently in a shop where one patron was leading a meeting so loudly that, and I kid you not, the entire shop could hear every word for a solid 30 minutes. Eventually, another patron, a friend who shall remain nameless, resorted to the posture you see below. Could you just scroll down a little bit for me? I can't remember the posture, Leon. I'm guessing it's, oh, right, hands over ears, clearly being annoyed by this. Love that. Thank you. So he said, part of me was annoyed. Another part of me wondered if this is just standard operating procedure these days, and I'm the one who's out of touch. Maybe you're not down with the kids like me, you see. That's the problem. So what's the verdict? Is a noisy Zoom meeting in a coffee shop perfectly acceptable, mildly inconsiderate, completely over the line? He's asking for opinions. It is a conversation, isn't it? Susie, straight to you. And it's difficult there because there's three options. So, you could be on the fence in the middle, I suppose. But somebody's on a Zoom meeting, the whole coffee shop can hear it. He doesn't say whether you can hear both sides of the Zoom meeting or not. What's your take on this?
Well, I was actually going to say that makes the difference. Like, I personally do not understand anybody who speaks to anyone, regardless of whether it's a business meeting or not, with the other person or people on loudspeaker so that everybody can hear what's being said by the other person. Like, I don't understand when that became acceptable. I'm sorry if I've now lost lots of our audience for being old-fashioned, but that to me makes no sense whatsoever. We have these things called headphones, and there's some brilliant ones that you can put in your ears and don't have cables and stuff. Use them. Okay, so if this guy is not using headphones, then that is, in my opinion, totally unacceptable. If you can hear both sides of the Zoom meeting. If you can hear one side of the Zoom meeting, I think it's an it depends from me. So there you go. That's me on the fence. It depends. It depends on whether he's doing most of the talking or not. If he's talking for 30 minutes, I think that's quite annoying. If he's on a Zoom meeting and occasionally saying something, I think that's different. So I've run trainings before where some of my participants have been sitting in a coffee shop. In a room where there's 20 participants, they're going to speak in an hour about 5 minutes max. Typically, I think that's perfectly fine to be in a coffee shop and taking part in a training, right? If you're doing the lion's share, I think that's tricky. I also think people don't realize how loud they are on Zoom meetings when they're talking, when they've got the headphones on as well. I'm not trying to excuse it, but I think all of this stuff kind of plays a part. So if it was on loudspeaker and you could hear what everyone else is saying, that's just rude because I bet you none of those people knew that it was on loudspeaker. But if he's using headphones, it depends. It definitely gets my goat, though, when people are inconsiderate in public and doing things like this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I find it really fucking weird that people do Zoom calls in public full stop. Like, I'm surprised they don't lock themselves away in rooms. When I go into anywhere, and even if you've got headphones on, and it's just like in the plaza, where Professional Liverpool is, and if you've been in there, they've got Bowl Street Coffee downstairs. And the amount of people who are on Zoom calls, like, sat next to each other, I'm like, what's going on? But I guess that's a me problem rather than anything else. Yeah, I'm with you as well, Susie. Like, people who do a conversation on a phone on loudspeaker or do a video call while they're walking around the shops to the mate talking about stuff, I want to smash their phones up. Not gonna lie.
So there's some fairly strong opinions brought around by this one. Yeah, I'm with you with the phone thing. I was on a train the other month and somebody was sat in the train bits the other side of the train, the opposite windows to me, and they were playing the music on the phone on the speaker. And I was like, that to me, that should be an immediate tar and feathering, maybe put in the stops for at least 2 days. Like, why would you do that when there's headphones around there? Here's the counter argument for me, though, and I just don't know how I feel about this. Let's say there's 10 tables in this coffee shop, and 9 of those tables have 2 people at it having a conversation. The 10th is somebody on Zoom. That's just 2 people having a conversation, except one of them happens to be digital. Why is it different?
Is it the volume of the? I wonder if it's the volume, because you don't. I think I speak louder when I'm on. I'm louder now on this podcast than I do when I'm normally talking to somebody in a coffee shop.
Could be the volume. I know I speak louder when I'm on the phone. You're unaware of your volume, so maybe it's a volume thing. Leon?
I just think you should all fucking go home to make phone calls. To be honest.
I think
This is just weird.
I do think there's the factor of the topic.
Oh, let's go down this rabbit hole. Go on.
Well, so for example, I was in a hotel a couple of weeks ago, I think in Brussels, and there were 3 guys sitting at a table next to me having a conversation. So there's no Zoom meetings in sight. It's all normal people having conversations. And they were sitting around a laptop discussing the pricing that they were going to give for one of their customers. And it was normal volume, but because of the ways the tables were set up, and I was on my own, so I wasn't having a conversation with somebody else. I heard everything. Like, I'm pretty confident I know what company they work for, which customer they were going to have a meeting with. Like, I know all of that information. I'm not going to do anything with it. I mean, I'm getting old, so I've forgotten it all now. But if I was their competitor, or if I was, a customer, then that would not be okay to be having that type of conversation in a public area. So
it's an interesting point. Me and you have got NDAs with a lot of companies, haven't we?
We do.
And we couldn't be having these conversations in public with people.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to try and tie this back to a sales message for our listeners, and suggest that maybe you need to be careful about taking calls in a place where you're clearly in a public space, because you might not get the right answers from a prospect who you're listening to. If they're aware you're in a public space, they might be more worried about giving you an honest answer when you ask them a question, and they might not open up enough. Can we do that?
Not only, so my local pub, which I love, if you are listening to this, the Bridge Inn, the Station Bridge, there's big signs everywhere, no swearing. You're not allowed to swear. If you swear when you're in the pub, you get thrown out. Which I think, but they said well, yeah, bye Leon, you're out. I've literally seen them ask people to leave. And it's because it's a small little country pub. Everybody can hear everybody else's conversation. No swearing. There's families in there. There's elderly in there. There's people that might be offended. And if you can't control your swearing, you're not allowed in. I've had people visit and they've really struggled having a chat over a pint and not dropping an F-bomb here and there and that. And it's actually made them really aware of how much they use profanities. Maybe that's the next level with it, isn't it? Is if you sat on Zoom swearing whilst playing some music really loud, you definitely need to put your head in the bin. I think we've kind of kicked this one to death as much as we can. Theme today then, Susie, did the last post tie up with all the other ones for you, or have we ruined it in the final hurdle?
I feel like we may have ruined the theme, but I think it was probably worth it for entertainment value. I have a feeling that people listening will have enjoyed our rants right now, so you're welcome.
I actually think the theme is that we are 3 old people who need to sort our lives out. So the first post that we had was Daniel Burke, and we were flipping out over the fact that he had 10% battery. Well, you and I were, Susie. Chris was fuming that this guy's name was Rich, who has a really good post, and he wasn't too happy about that. I think we both lost our shit on the pipeline longevity and how long it takes. Julia Carter used some words that we didn't understand. So I think our theme today, and maybe for the rest of perpetuity, is that we are 3 old folks chatting wham about sales.
Sadly think you might be right, mate. Yeah.
We should change this from Twiz to TOFC. WS.
The old
3 old folk chatting wham over sales.
Not as catchy, I don't think.
Maybe not. Listen, if you want to join us again on 3 old folk chatting wham over sales, then you know what to do. If you've seen any really cool posts, drop us an email, improve@thesalesdojo.com. We'll have a chat about it. If you'd agree or disagree on the stuff that we talked about, if you want to take the mickey out of us for being old folks, follow us on social media, share what you think, and call us out on it, because we're basically old folks chatting wham about sales stuff, and we probably need sorting out.
You've said it so often now, that's going to become a thing, Leon. That's going to stick in people's heads now.
But if you do something 3 times, that's the idea. So that's why I've done it 3 times. Now I'm going to change the meeting details of our meetings in future.
Right. Susie's got to go for a tea. So I think we probably have to go.
See you soon.